For a TBN audience that maybe aren't familiar with, you know, the Newsboys, give me a little background. Where are you guys from? Obviously, you're not from the continental 48.
No, we're from the deep south. We're from a place called Australia. Phil's from New Zealand. 3 guys from Australia, 1 from New Zealand, and 1 from America. He's a translator. And so, but we started about 20 years ago now. I was 3 when we started. Just kidding. And but yeah, we've you know, we've just been taking a day at a time, as funny as that sounds, as a band. And I think even in the last, we started out gung-ho, you know, kind of these young guys just trying to take the world, kind of like nomads, you know, roaming the earth. And by the grace of God in the last few years, he's just been so merciful to us in our relationships. And I mean, to walk with other men for a long time is tough, you know, and walk with there's not many people you know that have hung out together closely for that amount of time. And so, but that's what we've realized being the great thing, you know, more than the music. A lot of people can strum a guitar, but to hang out with someone and be in covenant with them is a lot harder.
Because you almost become like a family at that point, or you are a family.
We really are. We've watched each other's kids grow up, and I mean,
and each other grow up.
And each other grow up. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, is there anything I'm missing, really? I think that's...
Well, what I want to know too is, you know, an event like tonight, I'd like to hear from you. What does it mean to be here, to be able to minister to these kids and the people that are here?
Yeah, well, we're just a part of this evening. You know, and it's really just a picture of how the body of Christ works. We know what we do, and we'll come and hopefully we'll do as well as we can, and then we'll pass the ball to someone else, and hopefully the complete picture of the gospel will be painted and people will respond.
You're just kind of part of that puzzle. What, for those that maybe, again, don't know your music style, what can we expect tonight? What songs will you be performing?
We sort of talked about this earlier because we've sort of got well, I wouldn't say it's a theory, but in the band, the one thing different about Newsboys probably in a lot of bands is that, you know, in the last 18 months we've been in front of, you know, 15,000 Muslims in Marrakesh, Morocco. We're on the Sea of Galilee playing a New Age festival, and we're here tonight at an evangelical event, but we do the same thing at all of them. We just go to bless God, you know, and see what happens. And when that happens, if you kind of hit that mark, by his grace, something else happens that we can't. It's like when you preach the gospel, there's power in that, like Paul talked about. You can go and use all your fancy words, but if you just share your testimony, then there's power in that gospel message. And so that's what, you know, that's what we believe will happen tonight.
As you travel around the world, I mean, you know, and you go to the different parts of the earth, Christ is needed everywhere, is he not?
He's needed everywhere, absolutely. And, you know, the church is, like Peter says, the church is growing. And the gospel is going forward, and you know, sometimes I think we feel like just hiding, and that the church is shrinking and getting smaller. But the fact of the matter is, the gospel is going out, people are responding, Jesus is being preached and accepted, and the church is growing, and we will win. It's just the way it is.
When you guys first got started as, you know, a smaller band from down under, did you realize quite where God was going to take you?
Not so much on any scale. We didn't. I mean, we've sold a lot of records, and that's been incredible. And we just sort of started out. I mean, we used to do construction, so it was just anything to not dig a ditch. Yeah. But more than that, what we've been talking about is just what he's done in our lives. You know, personally, just you know, and just leading us through. I grew up in church. I grew up hearing all the sermons, but I believed that Jesus was the way, but I felt lost. You know, and I believed he was the truth, but I didn't have it going on in my life. And it wasn't until I began to get a foundation, you know what I mean? And that came by first really making Jesus Lord and realizing that this thing inside of me that I'm born with, that we're all born with, that separates us from God is powerful. It's too powerful for me to try and deal with it, and it has to be dealt with by something more powerful than it, and that's Jesus, because only he can defeat death. Yeah. But then beyond that, beyond the altar call tonight, it's that thing of where do you go from there? Why is it so many youth group kids hit their first frat party and the first beer that they have gets washed out? You know, everything gets washed away. It's because there's not a foundation like a seed that falls to the ground and it doesn't get planted in deep soil and take root. And that was my life for many years in that way. And it wasn't until I began to realize that one of the ways to get a foundation is to be in the Word and to be feeding yourself with the Word, and that begin to, yeah, the Word is that thing that, you know, when you read it, you begin to know if your thoughts and your attitudes are right, because they're either confirmed by it or they conflict it, and so all these things begin to be real in our lives, even together, and then it was walking in covenant relationship, walking with other pastors and leaders, walking with men who knew what it is to have authority because they knew what it was to follow. And so these kind of things have been happening in our lives in the last few years, and that's been more exciting than the music. And now I think it's, you know, we're making a new record, and it's made it better. Right. So it's like we kind of went the right way around this time, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's a good word. What do you hope that people hear in your music tonight, or what do you hope that they get out of your music as they listen tonight?
Well, like Peter said, there's power in a testimony. And really, you've got 5 guys on stage, and we're really proclaiming what Christ's done in our lives. And he's changed us. He's changed us and is continuing to change us by his grace. And so I just hope that our story comes through a little bit, and that people get the understanding that Jesus changes lives.
And you know what? Music truly is the universal language.
It is.
And I just want to encourage you guys to keep it on as you travel around the world. All right, a little glimpse into the Newsboys. We hope you kind of feel a little bit of where they're coming from and a little bit of their heart. Let's go to the stage now here at Harvest Crusade 2006.